I'm Sarah de Lagarde, and I am a Brighter Future strategist here at Janus Henderson. And today, on the next episode of the Ampersand Factor, I am joined by my friend and colleague, Tal Lomnitzer. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tal, my first question is going to be about your role. You're a senior portfolio manager. Tell me more about that.
So I've been managing money since 2000, about 25 years now. And I started out and have always been focused on resources. So that's energy, mining, agriculture, industrials, and associated sectors. And I love it. It's always been a fascination for me. 2 years ago, I joined the Sustainable Equities team and brought the funds that I run, which we call Responsible Resources, into their umbrella. And that's been a fabulous move. It's a great team to work with. The main question that team asks when investing in a company, or the first question is, how does this company make the world a better place? It's a very simple but very powerful question that leads to some very interesting discussions around the team and really helps be a guiding light as to how to invest, alongside, of course, making money for investors, which is our first and primary goal.
I'm glad you said that. I'm always quite curious about what you think makes a great investor. What are the key ingredients that make a great portfolio manager in your mind?
I think, for me at least, some of the key attributes someone needs is, the first one is optimism. And again, that sort of ties into this Janus idea of believing in a brighter future. Alongside that optimism, you need healthy cynicism, and I would say intellectual curiosity is very important. The cynicism comes because often companies are going to sort of tell us things in the best light that they can, and we need to be able to see through that and really find the wood from the trees. Self-knowledge is also very important. I think that is really helpful in avoiding some of the pitfalls that investors can often fall into, and fascinated by behavioral finance and avoiding some of those pitfalls that we can be naturally inclined towards. And knowing yourself is really helpful to avoiding those risks, as well as managing the stress that comes alongside this job. Another attribute I would call out is modesty. I think that's quite an important attribute. Sometimes investors can fall into the trap of believing that luck is actually skill, and vice versa. And I think being able to contextualize that is important to maintaining a healthy mental balance, which is important to continuing to be able to generate money consistently for investors. But I'd say most of all is loving what you do. I feel like I've got the greatest job in the world. It's like waking up every day and getting to do a giant mental puzzle that's constantly evolving, constantly changing. And maybe that's not for everyone, but for me, as I say, it's the greatest job in the world.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I am a firm believer that you need to love what you do in order to be good at it. I mean, for me, it's, I was just on our website the other day, and there's a section called the Janus Henderson Explorer. And every time I go on there, I read these articles, I love them. And every time I see you, a picture of you in a hazmat suit and a hard hat, climbing down some dangerously looking mine shaft, I mean, you make me think of an Indiana Jones of asset management. Can you tell me more about which company visits? I mean, you do this all the time, right? Like, which company visit do you think was worth mentioning?
One of the first rules of investment I was taught by a very wizened old fund manager was that the first rule of making money is don't lose money. And in the resources sector, it's very important to be able to look at the non-financial risks that these companies need to navigate. And so just as important as running spreadsheets and doing models has been putting on a hard hat and steel toe cap boots and getting down to site and really understanding the context in which the companies operate, not just the geological context, but the social context, and really putting everything together so that we can know how they're managing various risks, whether those be environmental, social, political, or others. And that's involved me having the great fortune to visit a lot of places around the world. Probably the most exciting one that springs to mind would be a visit to Colombia, to start out in Medellin, in the middle of Colombia, and travel into the forests, or the jungle, I should say, in a helicopter, landing on a very small landing pad that had been cleared at the top of a mountain, surrounded by security army guys who had machine guns. I don't quite know why, but that sort of security was deemed important. And then getting off the helicopter and getting on the back of a donkey and going down a very steep, zigzagging path down the side of the mountain to find a tunnel that had been carved into the side of the mountain by artisanal miners who had been chasing a very high-grade vein of gold and silver into the side of the mountain, to then go inside where a company called, at the time it was called Continental Gold, has since been acquired by a larger company, was drilling this incredible geology, and you could just virtually see the gold in the sides of the tunnel. So that was quite an interesting one.
You did mention earlier about the importance of mental health. I mean, how do you manage your mental health? Because clearly there's a lot of travel involved, there's a lot of market analysis involved. Markets in themselves never sleep. I mean, how do you manage to switch off?
Switching off is important. Otherwise, you can easily burn out in this job. There's always more research to do. There's always, apart from 2 or 3 hours in the day, there's a market that's operating. When you run a global fund, it is important to be able to switch off and trust your team. We're very fortunate to have a group of trading assistants internally who I can trust to manage things whilst I'm asleep or on the road, either seeing clients, traveling, or even on holiday. So that's quite an important aspect. I think another aspect of doing this sustainably is being able to again, sort of put things in context, and always remember why we're doing this. And if you have a why, you can manage any how and really endure some of the most difficult things in life. Markets continually throw stressful situations at you. And for me, my why is I do this for 2 reasons. For my family, in order to put bread on the table, put a roof on their heads and have a comfortable life. And the other why is to provide security and financial well-being for our clients. And it genuinely gives me satisfaction and gets me up and moving to know that if I do a good job, a whole bunch of other people are going to have financial security and be able to achieve whatever ambitions they have for themselves. And so that whole piece is, for me, the answer to the question you asked.
Fabulous answer. Thank you so much for your time today, Tal. This was super interesting. Thank you.